My name is Randy Howell, and you're listening to the Faith and Fishing Podcast.
Welcome to the Faith and Fishing Podcast, where every episode I'll bring you an interview with a member of the fishing community, and they'll be sharing their faith stories and fishing memories with you. I'm your host, Cam Steele. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Faith and Fishing Podcast. I'm Cam.
Hey, and I'm Robert.
And this week, it is going to be just Robert and myself. We've got a few things that we're going to discuss, but first, I wanted to just go over a couple housekeeping things. So first, I wanted to remind everybody about Jackson Orr's 5th annual catch tournament. The Kayak Anglers Together Can Help. The charity tournament. Even if you can't fish the tournament, or even if you're not an angler, if you want to, donate to whatever charity ends up getting donated to, because the top 6, I believe it is, get to donate to the charity of their choice. So if you want to donate to whatever charity ends up getting donated to, we'll leave the link in the show notes to be able to sign up for that. It's $20. So it's not a ton of money, but it will make a difference. So make sure you sign up for that. And I wanted to also say, if you are someone who has been using a different podcast app to listen to us than what you normally listen to, because normally you listen on Amazon Music or Audible, the Faith and Fishing Podcast is now on Amazon Music and Audible. So now, if advertising is correct, I have not tested it yet, but all you got to say to your Echo is, Alexa, play the Faith and Fishing Podcast, and we should start playing. So that's going to be really awesome. So make sure you give that a shot. And if you've got one at the house and you want to give that a shot, that would be awesome. Let us know if it works for you. We're going to test it too. And Robert, did you want to kind of, we still don't have an ad recorded for Omnia Fishing, so we want to make sure we give them their due. You want to jump on that?
I mean, Omnia Fishing, we're just glad to be partnered with those guys. Glad to be able to post those fishing reports and then look up those fishing reports when we want to go to different lakes. I know today I got a notification that, Cam, you uploaded one for your recent fishing trip. It looked like you wore them out pretty good. But you can do the same thing on your home lakes. You can go on to Omnia, create an ambassador profile, and you can file your own fishing reports, and people can look those up and use some of your recommended baits, and you can start earning some cash back towards your next bait purchases when they follow your links and purchase the baits that you recommend. The whole system is pretty easy to operate. And then also, one thing that's helped me, if you are going somewhere to fish, I fished a couple out-of-state tournaments, and it's a great tool to go on and look at different lakes and different rivers and find out what those ambassadors around those areas are having good success on. So you guys check that out. I'm sure there'll be an Omnia link at the bottom. Scroll down, check that out. Check out Cam's profile. Check out my profile. And I don't know if we've mentioned it or not, but there's a lot of pro anglers that have their profiles on there. Seth Fighter, I know. A few kayak, Christine Fisher's on there. There's quite a few professional level ambassadors. So, those guys and gals are always on the fish. And so you can get some good intel, good information from those ambassadors and all the rest of them on there.
Absolutely. Kate Field is another one who has some really awesome reports up there.
Yeah, Kate Field's on there, yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. And We've been giving Omnia Fishing a lot of love on here. I know we play ads for all of our sponsors, but we haven't actually talked about our sponsors in a while. So I wanted to give them a shout out, just because they've got they've stood behind us, and uh, want to just give them some love too. Uh, Savior Outdoors, they sure have saved me a lot of money, and Mr. Clumsy over here, uh, I'm very thankful to Savior Outdoors for all they've done for us. Atollis, they kind of hit a snag this year. And they had kind of bigger plans for us than we were able to do, but um, they still, they're behind the podcast, and we're behind them, and hopefully they'll get a new manufacturer soon and be able to put out more of the sunglass retainers. But if you're a fly fisherman, their fly caddy is really awesome to be able to just clip it to your hat and carry your favorite flies with you. And that program they've got where you get to kind of get the caddy and a few flies from local fly tires. That's a really awesome little program too. Jade's Jigs, love Joey over there in Missouri, and um, it is getting close to time that we're going to be fishing more finesse stuff, and Jade's Jigs is going to come uh, come into play a lot more than it has been here lately. I'm a power fisherman through and through, so those warmer months and the transition months where they're chasing, moving baits, it's hard to put those down. But here, whenever the water turns cold, I'm going to be picking the Jay's Jigs back up. Mr. B Lure Company, he's got all those awesome jigs, spinner baits, bladed jigs. His bladed jigs, man, I have really fallen in love with them. And people are going to tell me I'm crazy, but I I put the jackhammer down. I've just had better luck with the Mr. B's this year. And they've got a different action, different sound, and I've really liked those. And then Get Outdoors Pedal and Paddle in Greensboro, North Carolina. Um, love those guys over there. Will, he's the owner out there. He does a lot for the podcast, and they have a great selection of kayaks and everything you need to go kayaking or kayak fishing or biking, or just doing outdoor stuff. Carrying whatever you have on your vehicle, whether it be skis or snowboards or kayaks or whatever. So um, wanted to make sure we gave them some love this episode, just because, like I said, we play the ads every episode, but they just wanted to say something, with my voice that hasn't been recorded and you haven't heard thousands of times already. So
Yeah, yeah, and all those guys, all of our sponsors that are all local businesses, and I know for a fact that Get Outdoors is big. They are big supporters of some of our local trails that we fish, and that's the people that we should be supporting as a fishing community. Are those businesses that are helping out and giving back, and doing some sponsorships for your local trails. So, it's very important to not, I mean, I love Bass Pro Shop. I mean, they have, so much stuff in there, and it is fun to go shop and just for the experience to go in and have everything right there. But, don't forget those small tackle shops and the people that support these tournaments. Obviously Bass Pro Shops they support the BPT and some other things, but local level, what a lot of our listeners are fishing, support those guys. And when you hear those names called out at these different tournaments, remember them. And then when you need something that they can help you out with, go support them, because that's these bigger trails. That's what makes the bigger local trails. That's what makes them tick, are the people that are doing the trails are actually supporting the people who are supporting the trails. If somebody's putting their money up so they can sponsor the big bass or whatever type of sponsorship it is, if they're putting up 200, 300 a tournament for big bass, and you're doing 10 tournaments a year just so we can have even numbers, if they're putting up $2,000 for the year to sponsor big bass, guess what? If they don't get a return of $2,000, or more, obviously they're looking for more because they want to grow their business. They want to make money. The math just doesn't work out. So I have seen and heard instances, where some people don't come back because they don't get the return on investment that they're looking for. So that's a great thing for anybody that's a tournament director as well. Push those guys and push the people that are in the trails, and not so much push them to twist their arm, but just remind them, hey, check these guys out. Shoot a little blurb out every once in a while, so it's at everybody's top of mind to support those guys that support this local guys fishing.
Absolutely. Well said, man. All right. Well, we are going to we're gonna play a couple of those ads we were just talking about, and then we are going to just kind of dive into a little bit of a conversation with myself and Robert. So we'll be right back right after this. Atollas, based out of Charleston, South Carolina, is an eyewear accessory and gear company focused on enhancing your time on the water. Their floating sunglass retainers are the most technically advanced around. Over 5 years of engineering, testing, and exhaustive feedback from paddlers, anglers, and watermen have resulted in a patented design in a class of its own. They're incredibly light and comfortable, built for durability, sport a sleek, minimal design, float virtually all brands and models of sunglasses, and they're backed for life. So if you break them, Atollas will replace them. No questions asked. Whether you're fishing, kayaking, or boating, Atollas will save your shades from the dream. Head on over to atollas.co to check out their gear and use promo code faithnfish15, that's faith the letter N, fish the number 1, 5, at checkout to save 15% on your order. Get Outdoors Pedal and Paddle in Greensboro, North Carolina offers a wide range of products and services designed to help protect the environment and enhance the time people spend enjoying the outdoors. With an expansive year-round inventory of kayaks, SUPs, bikes, kayak fishing accessories, paddling clothing, biking accessories, and more, Get Outdoors has established itself as one of the top paddle sports and biking shops in the Southeast. They also offer a wide range of kayak safety and technique courses to get you comfortable in your new boat. They'll even get it rigged up for you. Stop by the shop in Greensboro, North Carolina, or check them out at shopgetoutdoors.com. All right, so Robert, you mentioned earlier I got a chance to get out and fish this weekend. Have you been able to fish since we talked last?
Man, I haven't. I've started some new ventures as far as work-wise, and I've kind of been I do have a lawn care landscaping business, so that's been my main deal for the last 10 to 12 years. I guess I started that in 2010, and before that I was in the restaurant business for a long time. And really my whole adult life, that's the only, I had other little side jobs when I was a teenager, and but as an adult, that's really the only two jobs I've worked, is from the restaurant business for O'Charley's for 17 years, and then my own business starting in 2010 and still going. But I actually started working for a company called Noble Oil that's out of Sanford. And so I've been super busy with that. And we are also have a rental property that we're in the process of selling one and buying another rental property. And that's taken up a ton of extra time. And then like this weekend, My wife is running a race. She's running a half marathon in it's close to Oak Island. It's one of the beach towns out there. There's a trail out there, and it's kind of like she's as hooked on running marathons and stuff as we are on fishing. And she does half marathons. It's called, I want to say it's called the Big Ass Medal, the BAM Trail, Big Ass Medal. And then they get these medals that are like big ass medals. I mean, and so it's pretty cool. And so they go up and down the coast of North Carolina and run at a lot of different beach venues in those cities. Pay to bring those runners there, the same as when we go do a bass tournament. They're paying to bring those bass tournaments into these different towns, and those towns out there are paying to bring those marathon runners. So she's doing that this weekend, and both kids have ball tournaments. So we're playing in Walnut Creek, and then my son gets to play at actually the Durham Athletic Park Stadium, and then he gets to play there on Saturday, and then at Ting Park in Holly Springs, which is another, I think it's a single A or they're both. I mean, Durham Athletic Parks is a triple A stadium. I mean, it's as nice as that's a nice deal. So he's gotten to play at a few. He played at UNC Stadium a couple weeks ago. NC State's field he's played at a few times this year. So we got that going on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And, I think we got a couple more weekends of baseball and softball. And then about the time it gets super cold, it'll be time maybe to do some cast and blast. Maybe we'll put the fishing pole on there and hunt some ducks at the same time. So that's about the next thing I get to look forward to, is maybe some Cape Fear River action, and maybe carry the shotgun and do a little fishing. Of course, here if you're duck hunting, you're only hunting for about the first 15 minutes of daylight, and then after the wood ducks fly, you're not seeing a whole lot else. So it kind of works out good to have another backup plan and cast a crankbait, or figure out something on where some of these fish are. But
I hear you.
Yeah, so tell me about your day at. I saw some pictures you posted. It looked like you had a pretty good day.
I did, yeah. So I went out to Lake Raleigh. It's the little lake that's closest to my house.
I wasn't going to blow your spot up. I wasn't going to call out the lake or anything, but
it's all good, man. But it's like 68 acres is what it's listed as. But I mean, there's no way it's 68 acres worth of water. But I went out, and I did end up having a good day. One of my goals was to gain some confidence in some techniques that I didn't have confidence in. One of those was the jerk bait. And the first bite I got on a jerk bait near about took the rod out of my hand, and I was like, this is why people throw a jerk bait.
There you go.
And I'm hooked now. And I did end up catching a couple on the jerk bait and lost my jerk bait. I must have burned my leader line whenever I tied the knot, because the fluorocarbon was still inside the braid and the leader knot, but it had
Gotcha.
broke right at the seam there. So I must have burned it whenever I tied that knot. But it was just one of those days, man, where they were biting everything I threw, and at least until about 1:30 or so. And
that's good.
I ended up catching, I caught 4 over 3 pounds.
Nice.
Caught a couple little dinks, and then had the bravest little crappie decide he was going to eat a Hellraiser. And I don't know if you've thrown one of those yet, man. That is a weird bait. That thing throws some water.
So I was talking to one of the guys that I just started working with, and he fishes one of the local rivers quite a bit, and he said he's been keeping 2 of those tied on quite frequently, and it always has them on the deck of his boat. And I could tell by the grin on his face that he wanted to say more, but he didn't. So I just nodded and didn't ask any more questions because we all know what that look means. So
Right.
I think that may be, I haven't gone that route. I do have a couple of the slobber knockers over there that I want to see how that different vibration is, and then you've almost talked me into maybe a chartreuse Mr. B's uh, vibrating jig. So tell me a little bit about that, because we'll kind of go final cast on that Mr. B's lure, because it looked a little bit juicy hanging out of that bass's mouth. And then I saw somebody had commented under that picture. But tell me a little bit about that bait and why you are liking that better than the jackhammer. And was that the main color you were using, or do you have a few different colors of those? Give us the rundown on it.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up real quick, so that we can talk about it. But yeah, so it's the Mr. B Lure Company bladed jig. Let me get it pulled up here. And it is, so you know how with the thing with all of the different jackhammers is, most places they use a split ring because they can't attach it directly to the head.
Right.
Well, Mr. B does this, so it's got a post, and
Okay.
then the jig comes out, and it doesn't hit the head the same way that a jackhammer does. It kind of slithers.
Right.
So it's got a different sound. It's got a different vibration. I mean, it doesn't vibrate right away like a jackhammer does.
Mhm.
Because I doubt that anything other than a jackhammer ever will. But I don't know for a fact that the blade actually does hit the head or not. But I do know that, just like a jackhammer, whenever I've fished it for a day or two, that head gets beat up real bad. And I don't know if it's just I'm banging it up against everything,
Yeah.
or
Right.
it's that.
Yeah.
But he's got some phenomenal colors. I'll show you my favorites here. It's the just typical white chartreuse,
Uh-huh.
and he's got like the holographic blades. So for the white chartreuse, he's got the gold blade. Let's see.
Yeah, that's what I thought was interesting, was the chartreuse blade. And so tell me a little bit about that material that the blade's made out of. How does that, obviously all the ones that I've seen are either just a painted piece, or it is, just the metal, but that actually looks like it has some, uh, I don't even know what to call it, but you can see the prisms in there and see the different colors that's reflecting off of that. Is that what is that?
So it's a metal blade with some sort of it's some sort of adhesive holographic.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't want to say film, but kind of
Yeah.
a film, or
That's why I was kind of wondering how that was connected to the metal, or if it was, I didn't know exactly what that was, but I saw your picture you posted when you had caught that fish, and that kind of caught my eye. And I was,
But yeah, the other color, I used the white chartreuse, the battle shad, and the midnight here. So that midnight has like I don't know if he's got a picture of it anywhere. It might be this one here. So the kind of the black and blue holographic blade on there. Then the battle shad is if I'm fishing somewhere that's a little clearer, That battle shad color is awesome, and um, my favorite thing about the battle shad color is if you order anything that you order from the battle shad, I think it's 30% of the proceeds go to the Wounded Warrior Project. Um,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
even if I never really have a real use for the battle shad because the lakes I fish are super dirty, I always like to order a couple. So
Yeah. Those white ones, they work in dirty water too, though. I like it. I like that battle shad color.
um, if you're someone who loves the fire crawl color, his habanero it's
Yeah, it
it's
looks nice too.
beautiful, and
I like.
it's got an orange holographic blade. Um, it is. Let's see. I don't know if he's got a picture of it or not. It's not the same as the Oki special. That's just a painted orange blade.
Gotcha.
Um,
But it's
but
the holographic looking one.
right,
Yeah, I was just, I guess, that extended post, it probably doesn't make, I would assume it doesn't make as much sound, but when you're getting that vibration and you have a different sound, I mean, I like, I do like the jackhammers, but I tend to lean a little bit more toward the thunder crickets. I like that. I have both and I throw both. And then, like I said, I have the slobber knocker, but I haven't even tied it on yet and haven't had a chance to test that out. But then you have all the Z-Man kind of subsets of the bladed jigs with you have the bigger bladed one. You have I think they're called the minis or the mighties that are the next size down. A lot of people have been having good luck with them. But I think when you get into those, the bigger groups of what people are throwing are the jackhammers. Then you have a smaller set that are the regular original chatterbaits from Z-Man. And then you have this whole group of individual bait makers that are using that split ring, which to me, if you put a blade on the front of a jig, which is basically a bladed jig, but if you connect it with that split ring, pretty much all of those are going to be a similar cadence and a
right.
similar sound. And I know that there's maybe some differences in some blade sizes and blade material, but you really Jage Jigs, you really are looking at something that I haven't seen a lot of people, or really I haven't seen anybody have an extended post like that. So
Yeah,
that may be something to put in the arsenal for sure.
and it hunts really well. I like a trailer on it that's got a long straight tail, and then maybe a little fork at the end of the tail,
Kind of like
or
a fluke
uh,
style trailer.
um, a little bit skinnier than a flute,
Okay.
but uh, and with those longer tails, and you like kind of do the start stop and jerk it and move it around. It hunts really well, and I mean, it has a thump. It's got a good vibration to it. It is definitely a different sound, and I don't know if they just have gotten in our neck of the woods. They've just gotten jackhammered out or what, but this year the Mr. B's just have outperformed. Because
Well, I'm gonna have to.
I usually go back and forth, and just to see what they're wanting that day. Because sometimes it will be something that it has more of a tinging sound to it,
Right.
um,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
gonna have to definitely get on their website and get a couple of those in my favorite couple of colors. I'm not a really big color. I think you got black and blue, and then white and chartreuse, and you got to have a green pumpkin in there, especially on some soft plastics. That I like the green pumpkin bladed jigs too, but that's really my three go tos. You may throw a fire crawl in there in the springtime, but
right.
I
Yeah,
think if you yeah.
he's got a bunch of different of bluegill patterns too, that are really good. So um, the female bluegill is probably my favorite for a swim jig. I
Right.
do that with my swim jigs a lot. I haven't really done a lot in terms of chatterbaits in a bluegill pattern. I probably should, but
Did you? You said you were using the jerk baits and then the Mister uh, the bladed jigs, and so what else is that? Your main go tos
um,
for the other day when you posted your pictures?
it was. I did catch. I caught one on a lipless, and that's something I'm typically not very good at. So it was good to to um, get that under my belt, and I usually catch one or two a year on a lipless, and here lately I've caught a few. You know, this is my first time really. This year has been my first time really fishing a grass lake and learning how to fish grass, and I'm starting to feel like I've got the hang of it at least this year. Now next year they'll all be different, but
Yeah, something on a lipless too, and I don't remember if I told this story on here or not, but um, this is probably some backwoods stuff here. But um, I grew up fishing Barkley Lake, Kentucky Lake, and when the lipless crankbaits first came out, I was a kid, but I'd go with my dad, and I remember vividly when those baits came out. I mean, it was like the jackhammer is now. I mean, it was if you didn't. I mean, if you were throwing it, you were putting them in the boat left and right. And as the colder temperatures got here, and they get on those ledges on Kentucky Lake, we would put split shots about a foot up above uh, the lipless crankbaits to get them to get deep enough to get to where the fish were. And so that's something else in the wintertime that I do at Harris or something else is I'll put some weights on those and run them down there, and it almost works. You can even jig it like you would jig a spoon, and it gives them a little bit different look. But that's an easier way to get those things to get a little bit deeper because they don't get as deep as you need to in the wintertime. But that's something you can actually do pretty good on, is weighting some of those down, which a lot of people, I don't think, they probably frown on you putting some split shots up above that. But hey, if it works, it works.
that's right. Absolutely, man. Well, um, anybody who knows me knows that I'm typically late to the party on a lot of stuff, and we touched on it a little bit at the end of the episode last week, um, uh, but we wanted to kind of give our thoughts on the whole the walleye cheating thing that went on. We don't want
Was
to.
was there was there a while there was a cheating scandal? I missed that. Oh, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
apparently,
uh, Man, I mean, what a negative light to put all fishermen into. But I didn't mean to interrupt. I just was going to throw that in there. I mean, I had so many people messaging me that don't even fish. It was just ridiculous.
yeah, same. All of a sudden, I was the popular guy at work, or all family members text me, "Hey, did you hear about this?" and everything. And it's like, these are people that I have been trying to talk up fishing to for years, and
Yeah.
this is the first, other than me, this is the first thing that they get shown. So it's, you know, fishermen have been known as liars for as long as I can remember. So we really needed the negative press. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like to call it more embellishers, but we too tend to embellish every once in a while. But I mean, they took it to a whole another level, which you never know, what people are doing, and uh, we saw some high school guys not long before those guys. Um, I saw a post of some high school guys getting caught cheating with baskets and tying fish out. And then I think it was the week after the walleye guys. I think here locally, somebody had posted a large. I won't even say what it is, so I don't give anybody else the ideas. But a large container made to hold fish that was sunk in one of our local lakes around here. And I just we talked about it on the side some, not on the podcast, but it just makes me think about the. I mean, what is it even? Why are you even fishing a tournament? Because I fish tournaments because I want to have the feeling of, okay, I'm getting better. Okay, I'm competitive. I like to win and I like to beat people, and I like that feeling. But I can tell you, because I'm not perfect and I've made mistakes in my life, and everybody has. But when you are not being honest at something, you don't get that feeling. I don't care. Like, those guys could not feel good about any of those wins. And it just, like, what are you even doing? And it all goes back to, and I pulled some things up to read, and it all goes back to pride and ego. And it is a battle that most people face on a daily basis. I do. I mean, it is one of the toughest things sometimes to swallow your pride and control your ego. But just like some of these verses say, I mean, God hates pride, and I'll just read through a couple of them. But Proverbs 8:13, to fear the Lord is to hate evil. I hate pride and arrogance, evil behavior, and perverse speech. Proverbs 11:2, when pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. And I mean, that is a perfect example. When pride comes, then comes disgrace. I cannot imagine the feeling that those two guys have and how they must feel. And I don't care how much money you win or how much you feel like you've done something, because your name is up there for winning these tournaments. And I won't even say that they won the tournaments. Their name was up there for winning, but they knew they didn't win. But Proverbs 16:5, the Lord detests all the proud of heart. Be sure of this, they will not go unpunished. And you're seeing some of that now with, you reap what you sow on deals like that. And you may get away with it to the outside world for however long it takes for you to get caught, but you never get away with it even one time, to yourself and to what you have to get up and face in the mirror each day. And when I've done things that that I should have made a different choice, and I'm not talking about fishing tournaments or whatever, but just in a daily life, and I do something that maybe I'm not proud of. Maybe I don't control my anger sometimes when I'm disciplining my kids, and I'm too harsh with my words sometimes, and that doesn't make me feel good. And cheating and doing things like that, it just honestly blows my mind how you can get up every day and just continue down that path to the point of where you're putting 8 pounds of lead down a fish's gullet along with fillets of fish. And I'm sure that they're probably in a way glad that it's all done, and so they can move on and get involved with another hobby, because I'm sure it won't be fishing.
It won't. And I mean, they've pretty much been banned for life from any wildlife
Yeah.
wildlife hobby at all, but it was such a perfect example of how easily and uh, how strongly greed can take over. Because who knows how long they've been doing this, right? Um, but um, the thing that gets me was, had they have done 5 pounds of lead, they probably wouldn't have got caught. Or had they have done 4 pounds of lead, they probably wouldn't have got caught. Probably, I think they still would have won.
I
But
think, and I could be wrong, and I really, after I watched a couple of them, I just stopped because I didn't want to keep watching because it was so big that you had so many people regurgitating the same thing. Um, and I had things coming to my feed and people sending me things, but I may be wrong on this, but on the interview that they did with the tournament director, to me, from what he was saying on that, they would have won without any of the weights um, for that particular tournament. And, it blows my mind, you know. Luckily, he
typically,
was
just
aware enough to find that out and to see that. Oh, I know what. Now, I couldn't have told you how big the walleye are supposed to be because I don't fish for walleye. But obviously, you got a guy that's a tournament director for a walleye trail, and he sees all these fish coming across. And if you got those fish and they're 8 pounds heavy, I mean, how could you think you're not going to get caught? If they're that ballsy, how many times have they done that? Good Lord.
absolutely. But and I feel the guys who ended up actually winning. Um, like, have they gotten any press? Like, I mean, I can't imagine, like being the guys who came in second initially, and then ended up winning the tournament, and now like your win is now tainted because these guys cheated, because now it's like it's it's not what it could be, like you'll always be the guy who won because they cheated, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Even
I
though,
don't even think, I don't know their names because it hasn't been put out there as much as the negative has been. But that's kind of the way our society leans toward now. I mean, the things that get promoted are, the more negative things. And I think Brian Latimer put out a video, kind of the same thing, or it may have even been on his Facebook page. I don't remember what it was on. I just remember it was him in some way, shape, or form, and saying the same thing. The people that won, and or even take something else, maybe a charity tournament or something that should be getting some bigger press, but then we turn it into the thing that gets the most press is the negative thing because it's like a traffic accident. You got to slow down and see how bad the car's messed up. And then you cause another wreck on the other side of the road because now this side of the interstate slowed down because they're looking at the wreck over there. And I don't know that we'll ever, with the amount of information and the online stuff and just the way all those algorithms work and just human nature, I don't know that we'll ever go a different direction as a whole, as a society as a whole. And just like I was talking about before, that's one thing you personally have to make a conscious effort to not keep clicking on the same walleye scandal video because it's somebody else's take on it. The main thing is the greed and the pride and the egos and stuff that we all face and try to put our best foot forward every day, in much smaller, different ways than what those guys were doing. But it's a daily battle that everybody faces, no matter who you are. So, I just try to go one day at a time, say I'm going to make this the best day that I can, and try to make the right decisions. And that still doesn't always work out. But then you regroup and see what you can do better the next day, and, try to, be a positive influence on everybody that you come in contact with that day, and try to recognize those people that may need a listening ear, or may need somebody to talk to, and maybe ask that one more question when somebody doesn't seem like they're in a great mood. And, we just need more people doing that type of stuff than gawking at the next, clickbait thing that's going on in the world.
Absolutely. So, like Robert said last episode, let's do what we can to make Jackson's catch tournament go just as viral as that did. I mean, it's going to take a lot more effort on our part, because it's a lot easier to pull someone down than it is to pull somebody up. It's a lot easier to, like you said, negative news and negativity spreads so much faster than positive, because whenever you get positive news, it doesn't make you feel better about yourself. Whenever you get negative news that, well, I don't cheat at fishing tournaments, so I am a better person and I feel good about myself because I don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it might slightly make my 20th place feel a little bit better. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't. I don't want to see, fishing or tournaments portrayed in that. But, it is just a bad thing. I just hate that look for our sport and all of the great people that are in this sport. And I hate to see it when things take a negative turn. Gerald Swindle had a video about, he's on social media like nobody's business, and he is posting all kinds of videos of, positive mental attitude. He's posting hunting videos and fishing videos, and he posted one, I think, this week. And I didn't even see the original video. I just heard him talking about, because he had to take it down because he was trying to make a point about crossbows and how in his area he wished that people wouldn't use crossbows, because that's what a lot of people poaching deer are now using, because it is a more stealthy way to poach deer. So people are popping out of the top of sunroofs with spotlights and poaching deer with crossbows. And then he gets all this blowback from people about handicapped people using crossbows, and crossbows are illegal and you can use them. And that's not what the dude meant, and people want to get on there and get behind the keyboard and blow somebody up when good and well what he's talking about. He was not talking about somebody that's handicapped using a crossbow. He was not talking about a hunter. If you want to use that as your weapon of choice and you're in a tree stand and you're doing things the right way, have at it. All he's talking about is don't hang out your sunroof and spotlight and poach deer. And it's becoming a problem because obviously you hear a gunshot at nighttime. Hey, somebody's doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Guess what? You can't hear that crossbow. And so that is a problem that, we're going to have to get creative and figure something out on it. Because I never thought about, that. But I never thought about putting 8 pounds of lead in fish either. So, but I just hate it when people go up and they blow things up that, these positive people that are putting out these videos and they're actually trying to portray our sport and hunting and the outdoors in a positive manner. And then somebody has to go around and twist the good things that they say. So it just, it's just human nature to always try to go, or I don't even want to say human nature. It's some people's human nature to go and twist those things around into negative things. You're always going to have those negative people. And I think the internet and social media has really shone a spotlight on those people because it is easier for them to broadcast that negativity out.
Absolutely. Really what we're saying here is, let's do what we can to spread the positivity, the positive things that are going on in the sport, and let's shrug off the negativity. And I joke all the time that my mom and dad always said, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And then they wondered why I was so quiet as a kid. But that if you don't have anything nice to say, then just move on.
That's right.
And go find something that you can say something nice about.
Yeah.
And say that. So that's really, I think that's really what we're trying to say here.
Yeah, be positive, and exactly like you said, that's a great point. If you don't have something nice to say, man, just scroll on past that. Scroll on past that thing. You ain't got to stop and comment on everything. I see stuff I don't like every day, whether it's in person or online. If I don't think I can help that person, or if I don't have a positive outlook on that, man, I ain't wasting my time on it. I got other things to concentrate and focus my time on rather than commenting on somebody's post about, you never know, that maybe that's the only reason they posted it, is to try to get a reaction and a comment out of somebody. And, I for sure know that's why people are posting some of these videos and stuff, is just to get a reaction out of people. So best thing you do on that, like you said, in real life, and just keep scrolling or keep walking on by on those people that you don't think you can you can help, and then give your attention to those that you think really do need some help and some positivity in their life that are receiving of it.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead. Let's play a couple ads, and then let's close it on out, brother.
Sounds good.
Whether you're a Ned Rig vet or a finesse fishing noob like me, Jade's Jigs is your source for high-quality finesse jigs that raise the bar by being lead-free. Using a tin bismuth alloy not only makes Jade's Jigs eco-friendly, it also makes the jig lighter so you get the same profile with less weight for the fish to feel. Check out jadesjigs.com, that's JADESJIGS.com, to see their full lineup of jigs, styles, and colors. And since you're a Faith and Fishing listener, you can save 10% on your order by using promo code FNF10 at checkout. Savior Outdoors gives me confidence that no matter what happens, what I take on the water is coming back home with me. With retrieval devices for fishing rods, bow fishing bows, action cams, and even one that can be attached to your other gear, they've got your whole arsenal covered. When one of these devices goes in a drink, it releases a float attached to your gear by 60 feet of line so you can get it back, and the pressure-sensitive filter means that you don't have to worry about rain or dips in the water while landing a fish. At SaviorOutdoors.com, that's SAVUR Outdoors.com, you can use promo code FNFP15 to save 15% and try them for yourself. With 30 years of experience of handcrafting lures under his belt, Mr. B of Mr. B Lure Company is making high-quality spinnerbaits, buzzbaits, jigs, underspins, swim blades, and more right here in the U.S. All of his skirts are hand-tied, and all of his baits feature a baked-on powder paint, all metal components, and only Owner and Gamakatsu hooks. All of his baits come in a variety of colors, and if you purchase a bait in the Battle Shad color, 30% of the proceeds go to the Wounded Warrior Project. To see the quality for yourself, go to MrBLureCompany.com, that's MRBLureCompany.com, to place your order and use promo code FAITH, fish, POD 1X10 at checkout to save 10% on your first order. Well, Robert, I feel like that ended up being an awesome episode. I didn't really have a plan with this episode, and I thought you carried the team well, brother.
Sometimes the best plan is no plan at all. Just roll with it and see where it goes. And I was glad that we got to talk a little fishing and a little about those bladed jigs, and and then shine a little light on some positivity with the Jackson's Catch tournament. I haven't even signed up for that yet, but I'm probably going to do that as soon as we get off here, and maybe share that out on Facebook, and challenge some other guys and gals. And that's one thing you can do to get that out is a lot of times we'll scroll through Instagram and we're looking at fishing pics or whatever, but post that on your Instagram. I'm going to sign up for it and make an Instagram post on it, and maybe even challenge some of these guys that are great on Instagram, and challenge them to be like, hey, let's see what you got. Let's see if the area you're fishing can stack up to Central North Carolina. And you start challenging some people like that for a good cause and have fun with it. And his goal is to, I think he said, get 200. So I mean, really, with social media and being a nationwide deal, we ought to really blow 200 out of the water. So that's one thing I'll challenge our listeners to do is to share that tournament and sign up for it. And if you do, message me, message Cam, or tag the Faith and Fishing podcast in there, tag Jackson in it, and kind of get some hype built up, and see if we can't get a ton of participants for it.
Absolutely. I want to see your name up there, and if I get to fish a day or two on that weekend, I hope to see your name underneath mine.
That'll be fine. I mean, I'm okay with being 2. If you want to win and I'm number 2, I'm good with that.
I hear you. Well, y'all remember to sign up for that tournament. Go out, spread some positivity. That's going to do it for this episode, I do believe. Y'all take care, and God bless.
Sounds good. See you later.
Thank you for listening to the Faith and Fishing podcast. Faith and Fishing is produced and hosted by me, Cam Steele, and is sponsored by Jade's Jigs, Get Outdoors Pedal and Paddle, Save Your Outdoors, Atollas, and Mr. B Lure Company. Be sure to give us a rating and a review, and to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. That's going to do it for this episode. Y'all take care, and God bless.